Cemeteries in New Orleans. They range from over-the-top monuments to Potter's Field. Stick around as Big Easy Life looks at the cities of the dead, starting at Holt Cemetery. One of the more interesting things about New Orleans is our cemeteries. It's become a major portion of the tourism as people come here. People want to visit this unique architecture, this interesting way of burial, and see some of the notable people we have buried in our cemeteries. I thought I'd start this series off at something a little different. Not one of the ones that you would normally go to as part of your tourist attractions. Not one of the things you'd find in all the guidebooks, but nonetheless, an amazing piece of our history. This is Holt Cemetery. Officially founded in 1879 by Dr. Joseph Holt. He was a Board of Health member here in New Orleans. Originally, this place was for the indigent and unknown before the city took possession. Holt Cemetery is very different from typical New Orleans cemeteries for several reasons. About 99% of the graves are below ground. This is because of the nature of those buried there. Above ground crypts cost money, and this was not that kind of cemetery. You can take a look at our episode right above if you want to learn more about above ground crypts. The next thing that makes Holt unique is that ownership will stay with the family so long as it is well kept. Now, unfortunately, as you can see in some of these videos, that is not the case in a lot of these graves. This could be from lack of family members still remaining alive, to no funds, or just simply neglect. There's so many different reasons. Now, with this ownership, this does impart a sense of individualism to each grave. As you can see, we have some with commercially made headstones, others using concrete or fence boards, PVC pipe, or just printed paper and photos. Now let's talk about the location. Holt is located just off City Park Avenue, sandwiched between Canal Boulevard and Delgado College. It's really a hidden piece of history that is easily overlooked. In 1879, when it was founded, this area would have been way out of town. Being this was a potter's field, an indigent cemetery, that makes a lot of sense. So, who, other than family members, would be buried here that might interest the general public in coming to see? Just for its uniqueness, it's worthy of seeing, but there are a few notables. All right, let's start. If you're a true crime follower, then the grave of Robert Charles would be a stop. He is buried in an unmarked grave somewhere in the cemetery, but there are several markers dedicated to him there. Charles was involved in the killing of at least 5 police officers and several civilians, and including 19 other people who were injured. This was in a clash in 1900. The fallout to this led to what is known as the Robert Charles riots. Very interesting. We may do a whole show just on that. Now, one of the things that is usually attributed to this cemetery, but is not true, you'll see on a lot of websites that there are 4 people here buried from the 1973 fire at the Upstairs Lounge on Charter Street in the French Quarter. That's the fire at the gay bar that killed 32 people. Several families didn't step up and claim the bodies of their loved ones, and you'll often hear that they're buried here. That is not true. They're at another cemetery, Potter's Field in Gentilly. We may get around to that one eventually. But who we do have here is Jesse Hill. Now, you may not recognize Jesse's name. He's an American R&B and Louisiana blues singer and songwriter. He is best remembered for his classic song, Oop Oop A Doo. Now, anybody who listens to any Zydeco music knows that song. He's also the great-grandfather of Troy Trombone Shorty Andrews. Now, everybody knows who Trombone Shorty is. Finally, we come to the person that is probably the most noted residence here at Holt, and that is Charles Buddy Bolden. He is also buried in an unmarked grave, but there is a large memorial to him in the cemetery. He was an American cornetist who was regarded by contemporaries as a key figure in the development of New Orleans-style ragtime music. That's better known as jazz to the rest of you. He passed away on November 4th, 1931. The quote on the marker at the cemetery for him is from another legendary jazz man, Jelly Roll Morton. It reads, "The blowingest man since Gabriel." I just can hope to have something as cool as that on my marker. I hope you've enjoyed this look at one of our historic cemeteries. Take a minute, leave a comment below on any place else you'd like us to check out and cover on the channel. Please go to our website at www.bigeasylife.org and look at some of our other content or get something in our merch store. And as always, thanks for being part of our Big Easy Life.